Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in part 2, you would have seen myself make this little box section support brace for the A-frame. We went ahead and got that welded on, and personally I think it came out a real treat. Then we moved over to the side light indicator clusters. Once these had been replaced, it was time to test them. Once I was happy with that, it was then time to drop the car on the floor. And then of course, move on to other jobs around the car. So now let's pick up from where we left off previously. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm pretty sure that part of the carb is supposed to be attached to the carb. The carb is out of the car. So let's show you how bad the carb looks, and hopefully yours does not look the same. So there's the carb, and as you can see, it's not really supposed to look like that. So even though that doesn't really affect much of the running of the carb, it's still obviously going to affect the position of the air filter, and obviously if the air filter rotates, it's going to block the air passage and restrict the airflow. So rather than having him have a bodged up carb, I'm pretty sure that I have another one of these lying around. So I'm going to replace this with one of my spare ones that I have, because I'm just a nice person like that. The Reliant shed. Yeah. Let there be light. Boom. Welcome to the Reliant shed. Do I have Reliant parts? Yeah, maybe. One or two. But the main question is, have I got any carbs lying around? I might have one. Oh, I think I got one in there. Oh, I think I see one. I think I see one at the bottom. Aha! Found one. Okay, so now we have the replacement carb. Now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly give it a good clean and a scrub, just so it looks a little bit fresher and newer than it does. And then once it's all cleaned up, what we're going to do is dismantle that one and clean all the other bits and build this one up with all the salvageable bits off that one. And then when all this one is built up, we're then going to stick it on the car and get it set up. Okay, so that's the replacement carb cleaned up and rebuilt. I say cleaned up. I've cleaned it up a bit, but I've not gone stupid on it because, well, it's going in a car and it's going to get dirty again. It's not exactly a show engine, so it doesn't really matter as long as it works. So there you can see a little bit more clearly just of the damage on his old carb. Obviously it's missing the mount there for the other bolt for the airbox, and of course it's kind of interfering with the choke hole there. It's not a major thing. The carb would still run, but it's broke. Why faff about when I could just replace it? So we're going to get that on the car and then get it tuned up. Sweet. And even the slider is nice and free. So that's how you want it, right? Nice and easy. Wrong. Not with an SU carb. In fact, with an SU carb, it's actually the other way around. The stiffer it is, the better it is. So that's controlled with oil in the dash pot, and that's the piece at the top of the carb, which goes into there. And you want to use an oil in there. You can use like the 3-in-1 oil. You could use the actual recommended SU carburetor oil, or you can simply use just regular 2050 engine oil. Now, I've always used 2050 oil in my carbs and have never had an issue whatsoever. In fact, a lot of people actually use 2050 oil in the SU carbs. Now, are the differences between the oils? Yeah, probably a little tiny bit, but not really much that you're gonna drastically notice the difference. The difference being, maybe you'll just have a slightest little bit more throttle response. You know, maybe the pickup, the drop down is a little bit more, but other than that, you're not really going to notice. So we're going to put 2050 back in this and put it back on the car. Little bit at a time. Take it out. Got your plunger, you pop your plunger in and you check, and that pretty much goes down to the bottom, so we need to go a little bit more. And that feels pretty good. So we're just going to tighten that up and then feel how stiff the piston is inside. Very good, actually. So you can see how stiff that is to pull up, and it doesn't move easy at all. That's actually what you want when you're setting up your carb. Now I know that might sound a bit loopy to a lot of people out there, especially people who come from like biker backgrounds, who have ridden and built like motorcycles, motorbike carbs, other type of carbs in the past, and have never really experienced an SU carb before. But I can assure you that this is correct and this is how it's supposed to be. The carb is now installed on the car, and we're gonna just jump in, turn the key and see if she'll fire up. It's set roughly in the middle. I think the mixture I've set about 4 turns out, which is usually between 3 and 4 turns to get the car to run, to get the carb functional, and then you just kind of give it a tweak, find that sweet spot. So let's jump in, turn the key and see if she'll purr. So now we've got the little peg on the choke, as this choke just likes to slide in, and then we're going to turn it on and see if she'll run. So on, she's nice and cold, see if she fires. Beautiful. Might be a bit loud, I've got the inspection panel off. But she's running. What we're going to do is we're going to just let it warm up a little bit. I'm just going to take it up and down the street just to get it to full operating temperature, and then I'm just going to dial that carb in a little bit more, and then that carb should be set. Now, while I was looking over the car, I noticed this big crack down the wheel arch. Now, of course, as you can see here, you can see that the body was actually moving away slightly. So, of course, we got it cleaned up and prepped and fiberglassed, and then once that was all dry, I then decided to put some underseal inside the wheel arch, just so it looked that little bit nicer. So now that wheel arch is now structurally sound again. Okay guys, so it is now MOT day. So first what we're going to do, we're going to take the car for a quick wash and then go down the MOT, and then hopefully she'll pass. Let's see if all the work I've done has paid off. We're just on the way to the car wash real quick. Now the weather isn't the greatest today, I must admit, but the car is pretty filthy, as you can imagine, being in the garage, and obviously I don't want to get any of this dirt and grime stuck on the paint, so we're going to take it for a quick wash because, well, it needs it. And not only that, but I think it's just nice to give the MOT tester a nice clean car to look at and check over, because there's nothing worse than a filthy car. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to pass, or do you think it's going to fail? Now, obviously, what it failed on last time was the A-frame. It was the main brace on the A-frame. Now, as you would have seen, I've completely rebuilt the A-frame, and I'm really happy with how that's turned out. So I feel extremely confident that the A-frame is absolutely fine. It will not fail, not even getting advisory. Now, I have been over the entire car, and I'm really happy with what I see. Everything seems to be in good shape. Everything seems to be working as it should. Them new side lights as well, they've come out a treat. They look really good, actually. They're nice and bright as well, which of course is the main thing. All the other lights work, the fog lights work, beam angles are good. Brakes are absolutely fantastic on this car, which I'm kind of jealous of. And with that replacement carburetor that I've put on the car for him, this engine runs super sweet, and she drives, or he drives, sorry, because I remember this is a boy car. He drives so well. That suspension feels beautiful. It handles really well. I can't fault this car in any way, shape or form. So anyway, we're just about near enough of the car wash now, so we're gonna have a quick wash and then get down to the MOT station and see what the tester thinks of this car. Just look how much tidier this cabin looks now all that wiring's removed. So much nicer. Well, the car's all washed and, well, it started to pee it down afterwards, so was it worth getting it washed? Probably not, but it did a good job anyway. So I'm a little bit early for the MOT, so I've just pulled in and got myself a quick chicken and bacon sandwich. Nice. So I'm just going to quickly chow on that and then I'll be at the MOT station. Stay tuned. Okay, so now we're just approaching the MOT station. Now, fingers crossed, it passes. So it'd be very embarrassing if it doesn't. Let's just pull in and get it tested and see what it does. Let's just hope I've done a good enough job. Only one way to find out. I'll see you in a bit. So that wraps it up for this episode. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe, comment down below and let me know if you think this car will pass its MOT and is all that work going to be worth it. Stay tuned for part 4 to find out.